World News Tonight anchor David Muir. He's got something to do at the top of the hour, but he's going to join us right now from Paris with the latest. Good to see you, David.
Hey, I would do anything to celebrate the 40th with the both of you. And I know that part of the rich history of Good Morning America, unfortunately, is also covering very difficult stories like this one. So glad to be a part of it tonight. You know, Robin, you mentioned those three brothers, and we spent much of this day reporting out the trail of all of the attackers, but in particular, the story of those two of the three brothers. You mentioned the one who said the family had no idea, but then there are the two others. One is dead, detonated his suicide belt. Nights leading up to the attacks on Friday at the stadium, that's where the first blast went off, that they might have been staying at a hotel in the shadow of the stadium. So it'll be extraordinary once confirmed if we know they were that close to the stadium in the nights right before this all unfolded, doing their final planning, their final strategizing. We also went out to a suburb of Paris today where we learned that the house that had been rented for about a week, and the landlord, who's reportedly told a couple of media outlets that she thought these men were well dressed, that they were calm, and that they had in fact been here in France on business from Belgium, was the quote that she'd been giving out. So a very intriguing story about the two brothers who might have been behind this, and authorities here are urging the public, not to intervene, that they say he's very dangerous. Obviously, they know the other attackers had those suicide vests, and they would like him alive, and they're just not sure, though, if he's, like the other attackers, willing to give his life. I want to show you right behind me here. You can see this is one of the spontaneous demonstrations here in Paris. We're on the Place de la République. There you go. And as they cheer for the guitar here, but the Place de la République, and you can see the monument here and the spontaneous memorial that's been building over several days as we've been here reporting on the terror attacks in Paris. Just an extraordinary scene of all these candles and the flowers. And really, this is what you see when you travel through the city. You go to every one of these spots where these deadly attacks played out. These tributes, families coming, and many bringing their very young children. One of them brought their toddler, and I asked the dad, why would you bring your young son to light the candles? And he said, well, we want to pay tribute as a family and try to tell him, that there is light in the world. It's a hard thing to explain to a little kid. But, you mentioned another show I have to do in an hour, World News Tonight. We have tonight a piece of video of a little boy and his father, and they were being interviewed about how do you explain it to your child. And boy, it really is something, the way the father described candles and flowers being more powerful than attackers, and their weapons. Well, it's a resilient city, and, we all remember after 9/11 back in America, I was up in Boston, both of you were in New York, and the strength of the people after something like this. You see the same thing here in Paris. But I will tell you, we were at the Eiffel Tower last night because we knew they had lit the Eiffel Tower in the colors that represent the French people. And it was a stunning sight. And we met some Americans who were there to pay tribute, and one couple in particular from Texas. They'd been here Friday night to celebrate her 40th birthday. They were at the very top of the Eiffel Tower when they started getting text messages from their families back in America saying Paris is under attack. That's where they learned that they were back there last night as we were there because they wanted to come back and pay tribute the way Paris is supposed to look, is what they told me. But we did learn tonight that the Eiffel Tower has been shut back down because the workers in the tower are simply still too frightened. This is a city still on edge, and I think they closed it down as a precaution, really, more than anything, and to help the workers have a little more time, because it's a very difficult thing this city's going through, for sure.
Yeah, the workers were concerned. The workers were concerned about the security there, and you can't blame them, right, George? Thank you, David.
Thank you, David. We'll see you on World News.